Neediness is one of the most unattractive characteristics. Women hate it, and it's frustrating because we don't even know why we're doing it sometimes. Stay tuned to see different ways that you may be too needy in the courting phase and tips on how to become more self-sufficient. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to do that now and hit the bell so that you get notified every time I post a new dating advice video for men who want to go on more dates with women they're really excited about. I'm Emyli, founder of emlovz.com, and a few of my clients have been asking me, how do I stop being so needy in my early stage relationship? Well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Stay tuned, and I'm going to explain ways to tell that you're being too needy and things that you can do to avoid being a clinger. Constantly asking her what she's doing. It gets really irritating if you're always asking her what she's up to or what she's doing. It also sends a signal that you're very available and have nothing going on in your life. If you feel the need to keep checking in and see what she's doing, you're gonna kill all of the mystery, both for yourself and for her, and she's gonna feel like you're monitoring her, complimenting her too much. Compliments are actually something I don't recommend doing in the early phases of your relationship. Certainly not complimenting her on her looks, but compliments of any kind can really lower your perceived value, because if you're always complimenting someone, that means subconsciously you're telling her, I like you so much, and probably I like you more than you like me, which means I'm kind of low value and I'm probably not that important. You want to avoid compliments if you can, and just be confident in yourself. You don't need to try and win her approval by making her feel good all the time. You want to make her wonder if you like her. Acting jealous early on, or really at any point. When you act jealous when you find out that she's hanging out with somebody else, especially if it's another guy, that actually makes you look insecure and desperate. It also makes you look like you like her a lot more than she likes you. You really want to avoid acting jealous in the early stages of the relationship, but even beyond that, you want to avoid it because it tells her that you're just not that valuable, that you're threatened by every single other man that comes into her life, and that you don't have your own thing going on. So if you are still dating other people, you haven't had an exclusive conversation about being monogamous and committed, instead of getting jealous because she's hanging out with other guys, you should be mega dating multiple people at the same time to diffuse your energy and increase your confidence so you're not so laser focused on her that you get one-nitis and get jealous every time she's doing something without you. Oversharing. So do you find that you keep telling her all kinds of personal secrets about yourself and she's really not asking you many questions when you do? Instead, maybe she's getting like a glassy-eyed look, or kind of just not really connecting, almost not encouraging you to continue doing this. Chances are your oversharing is making you be perceived as low value or desperate. Now, in any early relationship, to build a deep connection, you do want to be vulnerable. But if you find that it's just you oversharing and she's really not contributing or asking you questions to dig deeper into something, then chances are you're sharing way too much and you're distancing yourself from her because now she's feeling like, wow, this guy's like got a lot going on, or this is too much, too soon. So you just want to pay attention to her reaction. Does she ask you questions? Do you ask her questions to try and dig deeper into her personal life as well? Or are you just oversharing all the time? Are you constantly calling or texting her? The key to building sexual tension is mystery. If you text her all the time or call her all the time and leave a ton of voicemails, you're gonna freak her out, first of all. You need to give her some space to wonder about you, to get curious about you. If you fill every second of silence with texting or calling, she's just gonna wanna get away from you. You need to give her enough space to process her own stuff, to wonder about you, think about you, and decide how she feels about you. If you feel the need to always be in communication with her, I recommend you take the attachment style quiz to learn more about a potential attachment style that could be problematic and how to fix it. Laying on guilt trips. So if you make her feel bad because she can't go out with you, or she's hanging out with somebody else so she can't come to your art show or whatever it is that you invited her to do, don't make her feel guilty about it. Really, getting a woman to say yes to a date idea is all about making it sound like it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. But even if you give her the most amazing date pitch in the world, that doesn't mean that she is going to be available. And so you shouldn't make her feel guilty if she has friends that she wants to hang out with or other people that she's spending time with. In fact, the more you're trying to get her all the time with you, the worse it is for everybody. And it's actually really unhealthy because you're separating her from her friends and her family and the other people in her life that matter. Ganging up on her with other people's opinions. So do you find yourself asking friends for advice about something that you were talking to this girl about and then telling her later, well, I talked to my friend about that and they're on my side? The more you do this, the more it feels like you're a bully, and it's a big, big turnoff to her. Giving her the silent treatment. So maybe something upset you and you went dark on text, or you stopped responding to her messages, or you didn't answer the phone when she called because she pissed you off. It's really actually an immature way to communicate. We can't read people's minds. So if something bothers you, you need to address it. And it's best to address it in person or at least over the phone. So much gets lost in text. And when you go dark because something hurt your feelings or frustrated you or pissed you off, it really doesn't tell the other person what's going on. So it's just not attractive. So I would not be doing that. Now that we've identified some of the ways that you might be being needy in your early stage relationship, let's talk about the ways to stop being needy. But first, if this video is helping, make sure to like it and subscribe to my channel. And if you've ever felt like you are being a little too needy in an early relationship, I want to hear about it in the comments below. The first step to not being needy is to listen to her more. Rather than going on and on and on about yourself, ask her questions that get her talking about emotionally charged subjects, and really listen to the answer rather than just waiting for your turn to speak. Make sure that you're also not interrupting her. You want to make sure that you're really listening. The more your outward focus is on her, the less you're inwardly focused on yourself, the less selfish you're being, and the more you're connecting to her on a deeper level. Sometimes we want to talk a lot to the other person because we need to soothe something in ourselves, but that actually has more to do with what's going on with our own psyche and less to do with the other person. So try not to just take all of the time talking about yourself. You want to ask her questions as well. Another way to stop being needy in relationships is to meditate. It sounds a little counterintuitive, but actually even 5 to 10 minutes of meditation can help to ground you, center you, help you to be more present when you are talking to her or other people, and it can soothe your own emotional reactions. So it makes us less reactive. And a lot of times that's what we're trying to do when we're reaching out to a romantic interest over and over and over. We're trying to soothe ourselves because we're maybe getting triggered into feeling a little bit of an anxious attachment. So spending at least 5 or 10 minutes meditating can really help to improve your outcomes with the woman that you're interested in. In fact, a recent study found that just 20 minutes of regular meditation can tame your emotional responses, which means that you'll be more level-headed and you won't need as much validation as you would if you hadn't meditated. Probably one of the most important ways to figure out why you're being needy and to stop it from happening is to understand your attachment style. The most recommended book that I give my clients, or that I recommend that they read, is called Attached, The Adult Science of Attachment. And what it does is it teaches us about how we attach romantically to others. There's basically 2 types of attachment. One is secure and one is insecure. About 50% of the population is securely attached, while roughly 50% of the population is insecurely attached. This means that even if you're secure in your attachment style, the chances of dating someone with an insecure attachment are pretty much guaranteed unless you only date one person in your entire life. In the insecure attachment category, there are 2 sides to the spectrum. One is anxious attachment and the other is avoidant. Someone who has an anxious attachment likes to always be around the other person, wants to be in control. They tend to be called clingers or needy, whereas an avoidant attachment is somebody who runs away when things get too close or too serious or there's conflict. Oftentimes you'll see an anxiously attached person, that person who tends to be clingy, seeking out attachments with someone who's avoidant. Somebody who runs away. So the attachment cycle continues because the clingy person's always attaching to the person who's going to run away, and so nobody really ever gets what they want out of the deal. I would recommend reading the book Attached, The Science of Adult Attachment. You can get it on Amazon and learn a lot more about how to shift your attachment style if you do have an insecure attachment, It is stable, but it can be changed, so that's good news. And then also it can help you, even if you have a secure attachment, to better understand the people that you're dating. Especially if you get into an attachment with someone who is clingy or who does run away. We sometimes, even if we're securely attached, we think that it's us. We think we've done something wrong, and that can lead to developing a more insecure attachment. So even for my securely attached people, that book is really helpful. Another way to stop being needy is to mainly communicate in person. The more you're texting back and forth, the more that gets lost in translation. And you want to pay attention to the body of your text or the context of your text. If you're sending paragraph after paragraph and she's giving you like one-word answers, she's not really that engaged, and that should be a signal to you to cut it out. But really, texting too much in any scenario is a really great way for the conversation to fizzle out, for you to look needy and desperate, and for her to lose interest. So what I would encourage you to do is try to make the majority of your communication happen in person. This means that you're trying to get on the next date really as quickly as you can, rather than having a lot of time in between the dates where you're texting back and forth. I'd also recommend, if you can't help it but to communicate between dates, is actually to pick up the phone and give her a phone call. The more we text back and forth, the more the conversation fizzles out. And just it's hard to keep like motivated to communicate when there's a ton of texting happening. A couple other things to keep in mind with texting is, did your last text end in a question or did it end in a statement? Sometimes people don't know how to respond, so they just don't. Another thing that happens a lot with my clients is they don't follow up. And so a lot of times a woman will just not see the message, or she'll see it and then get distracted and never respond, and it has nothing to do with you. So don't take it personally. Make sure that you follow up at least 3 times before calling it quits. But the less you can text, honestly, the better off you are. So if you can set up that next date while you're on the first date and make it, kind of soon thereafter, then you can avoid having things fizzle out because of too much text communication. Another really important way to stop being needy is to fill up your social calendar. So whether it's mega dating, going on multiple dates with different people, or just scheduling events with friends or family, you really want to fill up your social calendar so that your life is exciting to you. When you're less available naturally, it sends a signal to the woman that you're important. It also takes your mind off of the fact that you're alone, so you don't feel the need to reach out all the time to this woman in this new relationship. The more happy and fulfilled you are socially, the less needy you become. Another great way to stop being needy, if you recognize it's happening, is to start a challenging workout. Maybe you do a 30-day challenge of some kind. Maybe you start training for a marathon. Whatever it is, you actually want to get that physical activity going in your body, because when we're needy, we have a lot of extra energy that needs to be channeled. And we can actually channel it in ways that really help us to transform our bodies, our minds, our souls, everything. So rather than funneling all of that extra attraction energy into this one woman and blowing it all up because you've got that one-nightus, channel it into amazing workouts. Do something that really changes your life. Start running, start biking, start hiking. Do something to help expel that extra energy in a healthy way. And of course, my favorite way to stop being needy is to mega date. This is a strategy I used myself because I can be a little needy sometimes, as a matter of fact. So what you do when you mega date, it actually is the solution to an insecure attachment style or a clingy attachment style. When you mega date, if you're working with me, I have you set a goal of how many dates you're going to go on in 90 days. So let's say we were working together. I would say, how about we set a goal of 20 dates in 90 days, and we can count the first 3 dates with the same person towards that number. So it's not necessarily 20 different people, but you're going to go on X number of dates before you commit to any one person. This is the solution for my needy people, my clingers, my insecurely attached, anxious attachment people, because it retrains your brain. When we're needy, we're trying to get into a relationship with someone. But if you mega date and you really set that goal of, I'm not going to get into a relationship until I've completed 20 dates, you now protect yourself against yourself or from yourself. You are now going out and having these experiences and committing to not jumping into a relationship too soon. A lot of that anxious attachment style that makes you clingy is the fear of being alone, or like the desire to have somebody make us feel worthy. But when you make a date and you actually set that goal that you're not going to get involved with anybody before you've reached that 20 date mark or whatever it is for you, it helps to protect you against jumping into something too quickly. And honestly, the clinginess and the neediness, it has very little to do with the person that you're interested in. It has so much more to do with you and the way that you were raised by your parents and your early romantic experiences, and even different social experiences that you've had in your life with friends. So really, mega dating and diffusing your energy across different women is a really healthy outlet and a way to protect yourself from being too clingy. You don't have to be dishonest with the women that you're dating. You can let them know that you're dating multiple people. And to be honest, nowadays with the dating apps, a lot of people are doing that. So it's not even, there's nothing wrong with it. It's really a healthy thing. And it doesn't make you a player or whatever. It really is about, you know, you're looking for the right person and you're trying to learn about yourself in the process. What do I really like? What is the right thing for me? What makes me really happy? So that when you do choose that partner after you've been through the process, that you know for sure that you're making the right choice. So you never have to wonder if the grass is greener somewhere else. Another way to stop being needy is to hire a dating coach. Sometimes all we need is to talk about this with another person, especially somebody who understands attachment styles, who understands why we become clingy, who can talk us off the cliff, who can remind us that, hey, you're being kind of crazy right now, maybe tone it down or you're gonna be stage 5 clinger status soon. Talking to an outside person, and specifically somebody who's an expert at dating, is really important. It's easy to talk to friends and family about it, but you want to make sure that even if you don't talk to a dating coach, you're asking for advice from people who have what you want. More often than not, I see people saying, oh, I talked to my friends about this and they said X, or they said just be yourself. And then I ask them, okay, well, do your friends have the relationship of their dreams? Oh no, my friend's actually divorced, or he's single, or he's in a bad marriage. Okay, well then maybe don't ask for their advice anymore because they don't have it figured out. What's really helpful is to actually work with somebody who's an expert, or somebody who has what you want, who can give you advice about how to get it. And sometimes we need someone to tell us like, yo, you're being creepy, you're being clingy, you're being a stalker right now, quit it, cut it out. I know I could have helped. I would have been helpful had I had that, you know, during my dating experiment. But really having an outside opinion from someone who knows what they're talking about can be so, so helpful. And if you're looking for help on this subject, feel free to book a session with me or a member of my team over on emlovz.com/book. In our new client intro sessions, we'll talk about your dating goals, the obstacles that are holding you back, and we'll answer questions about our coaching and matchmaking programs that can help you find the woman of your dreams. That wraps up this video. If this has been helpful for you, make sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, and follow us on social media. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll catch you next time.